Mr. Gracie. I started running the other night. When I taught, everybody freaked out. They're like, I thought we weren't running no more.
Yeah, I was here.
They're like, last night,
Probably gonna put people on the floor. Everybody was gonna get their kind of back door.
yeah, he did
Technical mountain. Thing up there.
yeah. Talking about
On
where?
the butterfly guard. Like the guard passenger, the first person I walk up to is Brody. And he knows me. He's wearing those. Of course. And he's all going hard trying to break my arm. Do something.
Inside.
I just go hard on him. Something happened here. But it ain't exactly there. There's a man
Outside.
over there. Telling me I'm not to swear. But I will stop till they walk outside. Everybody what's going on. Man, I rode my horse from my house almost to Cowhand yesterday.
Back to the
Taking pictures. Everybody's wrong.
It's crazy. This people don't know what a horse is. Walk out. Let's go back to our technical mount escape. You guys need to see it? Technical mount. You see it? Alright. Nice and easy. We'll switch when I yell switch. I'm down. I'm down.
your knee pit. Make enough room for my mother on here. And now we go up to the leg. Ready to go here. Tripping up an elevator.
Get out of that. Ain't get there yet. Keep going.
Mine. And you get that, you get that same warmth right on the other. Yes. And now we shrimp out the bottom of the my ankle. Yes. And now we can turn up. Either one of them, you're the elbow line, you're the elbow, so you're not all the way out. But you're better than what you are. After that, we're out back door, yeah.
So if you end up here, I've got to get this. Over my butt. And I can't, you're not going to let this happen, right? So you're going to get that. I load up my feet. Close. So these toes on the outside. And this is here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these neck into the bottom elbow. Right? So looks like your hands are locked in like this. So you're going to have toes side, right? Push it out. Because that hand inside.
You're on top of me, and you're like, oh, I'm not letting you get my arm. I get scared to have my hands in the way. I can just kind of throw you, you know what I mean? Push it any further, your ass out. Falls over me. It's harder than strong frame. Yes. I just got to work around it. I got to figure out how I'm doing it.
All right, guys, time.
The only thing I would not do is cock the full guard.
So today, we'll work on some stuff from guard. Some strategies, if you will. Basic one is going to get on your side. It's going to be really enforcing getting onto your side. Left or right, it's on your hip. So it's not going to be something that's totally difficult to do. You just have to remember to do it. Because, what is it? If you ever watch Chris Hyler's 3 rules, is, you know, I think it's like it's 2 or 3 rules of jiu-jitsu. Like one is always be on top. And then the second one is only pull guard when you have to do a sweep or a submission. And then number 3 is like don't be fooled by the seductive and lazy nature of the guard, because it's what we do, right? You don't know a whole lot. You do know you can wrap your legs around somebody's waist and hold them there. But the goal shouldn't be just to lay there and hold them there, right? You want to be good at it, you want to practice it, but you don't want to just sit there forever and ever and ever, right? Because if you never grow from that, and you want your goals to always be end up on top or the solution. So, with that being the scenario we're going to use you today. All right, so if I have guard on somebody, and we're in no gi today, so our grips are limited. Have you found that when you're in no gi, it's more difficult to grip somebody and to be able to do things? So we have to rely, we don't have these to pull his arms and off balance him. So our grips are going to be different. We're going to be doing more wrist, 2-on-1s, collar ties with a hand on the wrist. All this is to set up these movements, right? We want a reaction out. Marty's here with both hands in my hips. The easy way to make this change here is you just grab behind both of his elbows, right? If I pull him forward with just my legs and he posts, keep your hands there. He's going to eventually have to move it, because see where his hands are posted? They're very close to his hips. There's no angle for his arms to come out and stop this, right? So just keep your thumbs like that so your hands can slide off my hips. Because if his thumbs are open and I pull him, it can almost do the same thing as if you had your hand under their hip as eye control, the hip switch. And the same can be true here if he just keeps him stuck. And I'm gonna go slow. and I keep pulling forward and he never retracts them, it's gonna start pressuring on the wrists. And not to mention he's coming forward as well. So if you get here and you do this momentarily, that's cool. If you get here and then keep this here, you're gonna fall, because I'm gonna come here, I'm just gonna pull it forward, and he's gonna fall. His hands are on the mat. So key number one, before we get into any of our own movement, if our opponent has hands on the mat, he's open for attacks. All right? These attacks can come from many ways. I would suggest that you start with controlling a wrist, and you can push it and open your guard and start to get close. Look how I'm controlling his posture and I'm controlling his wrist. That's a first. The second is if his hands come off of me and onto the mat, go ahead and go like boom, is I can scoop an arm. And this ties into getting onto your hip. Here. If you just bring your knee up to his shoulder blade and you hold on just above his elbow here, this is good. Doesn't matter if Marty turns his hand and pulls his arm out. Look where we are. We'll follow up, grabbing his head and his lat, and then we can start to work from here. We've done these sweeps before where if Marty starts pushing into me and starts driving, we can rotate and sweep. Or if he doesn't, we can start coming up on our elbow, doing the same thing, driving, or we can always just come up all the way to his back. So first things first, if your opponent puts their hands on the mat, they're giving you opportunities, okay? If he puts his hands on the mat, boom. Or if he puts his hands on the mat, you try to sweep it. And he posts far away. He gives you opportunity and openings for feet and legs to come through. So I can come here for the triangle. He posts his hand really far out again, boom. I can come in and grab both. So these are just some options that you have if your opponent puts their hands on the mat, okay? They should be putting their hands on you and not on the mat. But if you can make that happen, then there's your opportunity to start doing things, okay? Now, we'll get together, we'll work that a little bit, but here's what I want you guys to work on is getting up on your side, okay? Because that's gonna come in handy here in just a second with some other approaches to this, okay? That's just if he's got, I have him in my closed guard and he's trying to break the guard. Okay, we'll go over what they do in pressure passing scenarios in just a minute, okay? But for now, he's here, he's trying to control me. Let's add one more before we break to practice. He doesn't put his hands here, where else would you put your hands? In the armpits, perfect. They'll put them with the thumb up or they'll go thumbs down sometimes. They'll just put their hands, flip their hands. They'll just come in like that, right? I get this more often than I get the thumb up version. Either way, it's fine. How do we resolve this issue? Well, obviously he's pushing my arms away. I can't really get anything. We just reach across. One hand comes to the other, and we pull it. We can come to a 2-on-1. You can actually from here shoot your legs up if his arms are still extended. And if you're comfortable with this, you get here. The motion for the submission is going to come back across your hip. Notice how we're getting here. If he shimmies his shoulders through, that's fine. Don't be discouraged and be like, oh man, this is terrible, I lost my one and only. Trust me, you're gonna have more opportunities. But what he's not gonna do is most likely go back to this. If you did this, go ahead and do that, and I went boom, here, are you gonna go right back to that once you get here? Look, his hands come back down. So then we just resort back to boom. We can start working some angles, okay? So let's work with that. Give it a partner. I want them to start with their hands in the hips. You pull them forward so you can get their hands on the mat. Their hand gets on the back. I want you to either grab a wrist, push it out, get on your side, work an entry. If you have a submission you like, work your submission. But more important than that is I want you to work the different angles. Scooping an arm, bringing it in with the head. I want you to get up on your side. Get your leg up his back, kind of like you did a second ago. Work these different things. And see which one you feel comfortable with and which one you more likely would feel like something you would do in a roll. And then just start practicing that, okay? You don't have to practice all of them unless you just retain it all. But if you find one you really like or one that's, I think I can do that. Work that into it. Any questions? All right, which part is on 3? 1, 2, 3. As long as you keep your back and everything on this part of my back and a good grip there, it's just gonna be tough. I'm gonna have to fight out of it. Even if you take this hand, I'm just gonna put it back in my head. Yeah. See how it makes my spine tilted? It sucks. Yeah. Start working at it. Push it out as you bring your knee. Immediately shoot that knee. As soon as that happens, shoot that knee straight. Now you've got that shoulder push. Now pull it back. Pull this back. Push. Yeah. Pull it out now. Can you pull it out? I would have to break this grip, but here's what I got. This back. Is it like once the grab turns in, break this grip? But if I do that, you can do that. Or if I kick your right leg over my shoulder. Oh, okay. So my knee is now facing over. Okay. What I play too. Oh, yeah. So here, your hands on the ground. Good. That's what it should be. But you can pull. Here. I scoop everything together. So now you're trying to work out this come in here, whatever the case. That you grab that and do like a pseudo little Americana thing here. But we would like to get out of this. You want this on. So yeah, as you pull this down, here, your hands come on the mat. First thing I'll do is bring that in. Now, you know what they're doing is spacing. Spacing. And you want this back, right? So if you do that instant, you want it back, you start to push it. Go back. Rotate. Okay. You guys good?
Well, I said fried chicken was built for great because it was built for you.
Right. So take the right hand, scoop his arm, and bring it, and you're gonna scoop it not around the forearm, but right above the elbow. And then take the other hand and grab his back of the head. And pull him down all the way. And lock your hands.
Like the 7.5
How does that feel? Not good. So from here, you hold that. Bring burning energy.
When you buy your tree at the Home Depot, not only do you get more underguard, but you will put more on Jury.
Put your feet in it, bring that knuckles back. Look at that. Look, see? And now he's got to get that head out. If he does, then you start working into stuff. Push, drop this down. Right there, push that. Nice. Come up. Good job. So you see that gives you a little something. But here's the thing. When that arm gets scooped, you grab the head and the arm together and you just go like this. He's got to move. So it creates openings. Yeah, so don't, once you get this with the scoop, pull it tight and forward. And then you can kind of, you're not going slow. That's what I do. When I get it, I'll also kind of rotate my hips a little and lock it all down. So then most of the time they're trying to back themselves out. Drop two, feet on hips, squeeze, stuff like that. Where you're getting that. Your body shifts side or here. Here's what I'll show them. But just really start from the beginning. I'll pull into it. That's what we're trying to match. It's instinct good. Grab the elbow. Now, which side do you go to? Left or right? Because my should naturally go just above his elbow. And I want you to take this one and I want you to reach behind his head. I want your hands to come like this. I don't think I do. And I want you to pull it with your knees, yes. That's my elbows. I want you to grab your elbow. See how they're stopping you? I want him to uncomfortably get up. Now, get up. Bend that knee. Now, you're going to do this. I'm going to walk back to the front of his head. Building yourself up that easy on there. Throw that leg over there like a boat. And you have them up. There you go. That's what they're showing one now. What that does is, like Matt Howard, you grab up everything all at once. It causes hurt. So that's not a common thing. Let me try. They use the ability to see. You get your hand over your eyes, and it becomes a hard one. But what are you really want to do? It takes a lot of energy going. So I say go elbow to elbow because it's super tight. When you guys were going a second ago, they had a space. But then when I push down and push like this, it locks all this and this arm. Yeah, so then you're like, what do I do? You got to find out. And that's where you can also let your legs work heel, right? Nothing good happens when they cross your elbow. They can bite, headbutt, they can swing, they can throw their punch. You can let their hand one arm. They've got one arm. And to be honest with you, if you're dexterous enough, you can get it out of your So in this scenario, I feel like this is from here, right? I'm holding it nice and hold that. TJ tries to do it like this because I got a bone gun in my pocket and he wants it. I have to go. So all I did was push it down. Here, boom. I brought it to this head. Give it to Kim. Over. There's no whole lot of fanciness. Now I'm here. He wants that big league too. He wants that big league too. Grab it and turn it a little bit. It'll snap good. Get that check. that detail, guys. Look at that catch. So that detail of pushing, I don't know if you guys saw the detail real quick. Come here, Mark. The detail was this, and we just kind of impromptu fell into this scenario. Marty's here, I pull him, boom. I scoop and I grab this all together at once, breaking his posture down. Once I'm here, and I don't want to do anything else, I think I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to rotate him so this hand's in his neck, and I'm keeping this tight. This one's going to come to his wrist, and I'm going to push it out, but then I'm going to push it to his hip. There. Boom. Now, I can take the hand that's on his neck, and I can come up and grab the side of his head and start rotating, pushing my hips up, and then come up on top. But obviously, go back, oosh. And we're here.
Marty's head is turned out, so it's like you kind of pull it back.
Yeah, so I grabbed it here. I have a free hand. I could just push his chin. It's gonna make it worse. Or, I can just finish right there. The triangle's right there. His arm is already compressed by that grip. So when you throw the triangle, it's super tight. So, we'll start from the beginning. Here, boom. Whatever side you go to, above the elbow, when you pull it, everything comes together tight. Rotate your arms, let that arm grab the neck, keep everything even more tight. If this hand is reaching for the bubble gum I have in my pocket, I put my hand on his wrist, I push it down and to his hip, and then I lock it. From here, you're basically triangle, or you could sweep, okay? I would say in a street fight, I would keep his mouth shut, like that, and then I would probably rotate him and come up, because I'd rather be in the top position in a fight, and I don't want to get bit. But if I were covered in baby oil at the beach, like I often do in the winter, it's Florida, people, it's Florida.
Doing his OnlyFans.
Doing my OnlyFans, taking pictures as I play in the surf. I'm saying here, then you could just throw it. It's already super tight. Get your angle, grabbing this arm so he can't punch you or anything. And then it's there. It's tight. All right. So that's just add-on things that you can do from there, right? I think that's a really good thing to use if you have somebody in that position. Pushing their arm out, you're not going to be able to get your leg around it. You would think if I push it out, I can get my leg out around it. But unless you're like Tyler, you can bring his foot up here without even thinking. You want to put it by their hip so it's easy for you to lock. Your hand comes right out. Makes for a sub position for the other person. Now, the other thing that we're going to look at is we're here, right? Boom. We pull them. We get here in this position, right? We're going to go ahead and when I grab a wrist, I like to come up on my hip and put my hand on the wrist and I'll bring my knee up. And Matt and I went over this a little bit. I keep my hand on his lap or his head for posture and I'm just gonna do a push-pull here. Once I get my knee in front, I'll push with my knee and my shin is in his bicep, but I'm pulling here. I like to bring this over and touch my knee with my hand. This is a very compromised position for him. I'll bring my hand up and hug my shin like this to keep that arm nice and tight. And from here, Marty, what would be your way of escaping?
Sack,
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Problem with that is if I hold your head, ready? Same scenario we just had. We kick our foot out. The wrist control is important here, guys. Let me get your hand here. The wrist control is important. If I'm here and Marty tries to pull his wrist away, I will let him. Gives it to me. I rotate at the knee. If I don't want that and Marty's like, no, you know what, I'm just gonna chill here because this don't hurt at all. You can start to push and then make your way up. And go for arm bars. You also had that arm trapped. Roll up.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah.
You can get it there, there,
Or the omoplata.
and then if he raises his head up enough, you just stuff it under and go for the omoplata. I prefer to this, hooking that far one. I have long legs, your legs aren't long enough, or you don't feel like this is dexterous enough. Go ahead, Marty, how would you get out of this? Would it be Venmo or PayPal?
Tears.
Tears. Yeah.
I can't even get my hand over
I'm not even using my hands at this point. Everything's just kind of locked. Yeah, you would probably be attacking this foot, make me feel like a toe hold or something's coming. But that's gonna be not that great, seeing as how I've kind of got the leverage on his whole upper body.
my roll. Had this one.
If you roll through that,
Still have it,
let's see. If I roll through it, hold on. From this, without the lock on the far arm, yeah, you could roll through it.
Okay.
But if I got here,
right? Yeah, that's difficult.
I wouldn't suggest rolling through it. Go ahead and roll. But if he does, let's go slow.
Watch your hand, Marty.
Yeah. I come up on top, and this is going to be my obvious go-to attack. Because I just push it that way.
Yeah.
And not to mention that, when he rolled to get out of it, look where I'm sitting. I'm now sitting on his ribs where a second ago he was like mobile. So that position is just a heel to knee. We're here. He gets the back, whatever the case. Boom, we're fighting back and forth. And now we're here. Get that wrist. Cup this. It's not as fancy as rubber guard. It's getting close to that area of rubber guardness where you bring your foot in front of him and you start doing all that stuff. But it's simple. Just touch your heel to that knee and it makes a good bite there. So if I let everything go ahead and get out. You can stuff that one down. He started to make his way out. But if I make the heel to knee my point of contact, it's difficult for him to fight through. Hands are free, you haven't even used my hand yet. You start doing all kinds of other things. So it's not impenetrable, it's not that they can't get out of it, but you have to understand the positioning of your ankle, the bite of that heel on that knee makes it tough. Because guess what it's really controlling? It's not so much this arm, it's not so much that arm. It's controlling his posture. He's broke down, or your whole body weight's kind of hanging on that, his shoulders. So he's got to start finagling his way out of that, getting away from it, not in the same time as I'm going to be trying to go for things. So that's why my initial go-to is once you get somebody in that position, what do you think? When you get mount on somebody, what's the first thing they do? They just start gritting, right? Boom, boom, you have to weather that storm. When I do this and I throw that knee over, or I throw that heel to that knee, I cut my shin and I ball up and I grab control. Because the first thing I expect is someone to explode and shuck their way out of it, right? Let's think of somebody who's really powerful and strong, has a lot of energy, admired by all the ladies love him and the men want to be him. Let's just say it's Matt, okay? So we're here. We don't expect
you didn't
nothing.
say my name, they all.
They know, right? It's for the video. They might know. It's for the YouTube world. So we're here. Boom. We fought. We got to our position here. Boom. I hug this. I pull, push, pull here, and I'm keeping it because he's going to try to get out of this, right? So I'm falling up and I'm keeping everything tight. No movement. He's stepping back with his foot. That's great. He's trying to step over. If he can, that's fine. It's still here. He's starting to work out of this push-pull scenario, right? He can start to extend, come in here. If he goes to roll, because we're not totally locked in, you can drop it back down if you don't want to lose your position. We'll end up back where we were before. We can do a half guard. We can do a foot in the hip. We can come back up here. Now he realizes he doesn't like that. If his hand drops back, move it right back to it. Okay? Any questions? So it's not the end all be all, but it's definitely a really good setup for you to get into and do some control. Just know that when you first put it on somebody, if there's the energetic type, they're going to try it.
That typically is starting because the guy puts his hand.
So with that, we're playing from the hands on the mat because that's the easiest way to get to it.
Pushed down.
And then you slide up and then you get your angle and you put your heel to knee, right? but you can get to that anytime. Anytime you can put your
Regular
shin, you can put, anytime you put your shin in front of their bicep or in their elbow pit, you can work it. Just get on your side. And don't forget also the sweep that's there. When we first get here, because it's actually a sweep, and it's actually one that you can do from bottom side. If you get that, sometimes people can do it. Boom. We're here, right? If we sit here and chill, we can start to just drive our hips up. Here, arms right there. All I'm doing is rotating my knee around to the arm. If I keep it here. That's probably the worst. Right here. And you feel like you have to grab it. If you just put your hand here, you're going back in your pocket, is that tighter? Sorry. Marty's like, he's bouncing, he's like, his body wants to fall, but his arm's like, don't fall, bro, don't fall. Alright, on 3 or 2 parts, give it a shot. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, Marty. Marty, reach up with your right hand and grab top of your shin right over your shoulder. So go around my shoulder, and reach up and grab like this, like underneath.
Right hand.
Reach under your knee, under the outside of your leg, and grab your shin. See, that just tightens everything up. Like this arm is now cinched up. Yeah, that's just part of what it is. Bring your knees into your chest. If you can ball in like this is worse. This one is way worse. Break that. Yeah, let it go right in. There you go. I've already seen something along the way. Come back. And that's all it takes is that switch. Don't worry about this arm yet. And again, probably don't do that with this big of a gap. So don't worry about the arm too much. So you get there, boom, now switch. Oh, it does. Yeah. Now you can worry about it. Now it's locked, right? Yeah. Yeah. And then so try that sweep.
Strong shit.
Pull everything in tight. Now, you're going to start extending your hips. Extend your arms. So you're going to lay back and extend. Extend your hips up. Extend your push your hips. It's here. And then you start to walk. And it's there the whole time. Can you slide a moment without ripping my arm away? When you're here, you rotate here. This arm here. So this one right here, is tighter when I have that. So when I extend, right here. So this rotates around. See how it's messing your shoulder up? If you extend that arm, see how it's like super. Practice, just if you just, you know what I think? Do you have low back issues?
You're gonna try. So if I don't have it, you're bringing it out. I'm worn out.
So this, that's contradictory.
It's not just muscle, like the joint stuff still moves really good. Really good.
So you just like warm your back up, your low back. You start doing this the best you can. You'll start getting like here. So just hands behind your knees like this. Just go from seated and just rock back on your shoulders. It'll actually help your back out a little bit. You're gonna start to get used to that. It'll stretch that lower back. I don't think it's your belly as much as it is your back all the time. Yeah. So the more you just do that to warm up before jiu-jitsu, I'll do that a lot. I'll do that for like 20, 30 times. It helps warm everything up, and then I can crunch up better.
Because I want to your biggest physical features that's like just hard to overcome is how you can pull everything up.
Yeah. See how I'm sitting like this?
Yeah, right.
Just practicing sitting like this, cross your legs, just kind of.
When somebody's in your guard, that's really, I mean, I know your grip strength's there. You take those two hands, hold on, and then you go. In your core, it's like so much.
And because my knees are comfortable, coming up here to my chest. So my knees are comfortable coming up here like this. Just
And you were like, your legs were going. And I'm like, dude, I can't. It's practice. Your leg comes way out here, and you like wrap around, and you wrap around.
Listen, I look at Tyler and I'm jealous. So I just sit there and say, for everybody's attributes, I'm just like, man, Tyler, he'll sit there like this with his feet out like this, and he'll bring his foot up like that, like a hand. I'm like, what in the world? Once he realizes what he has and his flexibility, it's gonna be terrible. I told him this too. I said, once you get, that's what I was trying to say. It's gonna be the worst. Which one you working on? You put your hip against me, and then we're trying to figure out. Okay, I'm not doing. Did you want to do the sweep? You're
We did this
dragging me that way, and I'm like, okay, if you're gonna drag me, I'm gonna tuck my shoulder.
You gotta bring that knee first. You're not gonna be able to hold my weight.
There'll be a point in time where you're like, shit, you got your fingers there. I can pop those fingers there. I'm here. You really hanging on. You lost. You got it. Could you show us one more time? Okay. I think that from what we just finished.
There
Stop me. Stop me whenever I get to the part.
It's tight.
So like I'm pulling and then push, pull.
Let my arm outside.
So you stay tight. Or you stay
This knee to stay.
Now we're talking about the sweep there.
Back them up. Lean. That's the culprit.
What options do you have for this?
My neck and everything.
Because I know you can cut off, you can pull it back and go to your trunk. Or sweep. Those are the only ones I remember.
So this arm is back, I mean, if I can come here, so many times in his wrist, it's just a matter of pushing it back. If you straighten it, try to bring it front. First thing I do is I try to swing it. So that way, as soon as I let you up, boom, we're already here. Brings it to the chest, now we're here. I trap it, I'll let you sit on there. And at any point, if he goes limp with his wrist, I get a straight behind you, or back. Don't you see how snug that is already? If you are concerned about anything, you can always just hip away, and it creates some pressure here. So, now, the risk here is that you're hitting away, you're going to strengthen that leg. Try to step over, switch hands aside. But, you can always come back in. However, now the other thing I'm trying to do is that, now look where he's at. He's pinched up. So like, if this arm slips, it goes around my foot at any point, and this comes way back here. Pinch your heels together. Ready? Watch.
So you're on the complete same side.
That's correct. Shoulders. It works. Look at what I got here on the table.
Side control?
Once we fall off an arm bar. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, because I'm pinched to here, and you pull it back. He can't pull it back. Look where his elbows are. I'm gonna open up so you can see where his elbows are. Literally, his elbow's stuck here. You're ready to pull it down, away, and it's hooked. And I've got his head. So all I have to do is just start moving in this direction. If you needed to, you could just push his head. But the whole time where we set put in position this part on their neck, it's a matter of trying to do that. All I would have to do is just. Did you find what you were looking for? Like what you can do to that outside arm?
Yeah, I just.
There's just so much. The easiest thing.
Only if you're stuck in there.
No, you're fine. The easiest thing. Even when I'm on my side, I'm like, PJ, you gotta push this until it says ouch. Yeah. Push it here, and then just stop it. Right? If you're in a street game, you can bend this wrist, That's gonna stop it from trying to bring it forward. Would you bring it forward? Yeah. And the more he does, the more he brings it.
And so, and that,
If you get to the point where you think he's shrinking you, you can
in
get
terms of,
again.
in here, the flashiest.
You can let go of that.
And so I know if I do this, I'm gonna get his right position when the failure rate's high, whereas in tournaments,
If he does,
so to speak,
Watch.
H,
Straighten
right
up.
here, tournament matches today.
and let's just say he's super duper strong, he gets it out in front.
So it's like,
Go
in
lift
here,
where he
he's
wants to go.
perfecting his flashy things, that tail come out now, if I had this.
But if it's a
Yeah,
fight,
he's doing.
kick him in his ribs away from you and then you come on top.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you find yourself in those, get rid of offensive.
You gotta get malicious with it. Wow, you kidding?
You don't work, change it, we got.
You just got that.
Shrimp means no lines, have no brains.
Alright guys, any questions about any of that jazz? Anything? Lots of opportunities, guys, use that. You will find that you can get that heel to knee connection a lot. In those grappling scenarios where you're on bottom and you're in guard, you wanna have a plan. You wanna have a plan to sweep or come up on top or to attack. Sometimes putting those positions there is not always gonna yield you a submission. What it will yield you is a reaction. So if the person's just laying there doing this stuff, getting up on your hips, putting your knees and shins in front of their biceps, push, pull, you're gonna start making some things happen, some reactions, okay? The overarching theme is, today, the biggest, number one, largest bite to savor is if they put their hands on the mat, you've got opportunities for attacks and control. Go huge, grab the head and the arm at the same time, and then work on what you want to work on from there, okay? You've got posture, you got what are their arms trapped, okay? So when you start to get into the finer details is, if you go for something and they get out, something else is getting presented to you, right? So you may just have to go in the other direction, or switch your attack to another attack, or switch to something else, okay? None of these positions is definite or finite where it's like, we're infinitely done. It's like, it's there. The position's there, they can get out of it eventually, okay? Even the one where Marty had the omoplata with the foot on the other side, he was starting to make the right move will get you free, right? So the point is, don't stay there all day, okay? Any questions? Be together. Stop.